Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we discuss Kansas, Same Bet, Ameristar, Soul Searching, education. We also touch on Wichita, White Castle, Boot Hill, sock puppets, bubble craps, shot puts, practice, and the number one rule of gambling.
There he is.
Hey, fellas.
Same bet.
How's it going, guys?
So nice seeing your face, man.
Dave, how you doing, my friend?
Not too shabby. Man, you have lost some weight.
A lot of weight. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, it's like I just saw you the other day in a Facebook post and thought, oh, wow. Whatever you're doing, it's working, man.
I am 1 year on a really good life-changing diet. This month's been a year. I've lost 36 or 7 pounds, something like that.
Dang, well, man, it's looking good on you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm more or less leveled out, I think, to where I want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, technically I could lose some more, but I don't know if I want to.
If that's the weight you're feeling comfortable at, man, why?
Clothes are expensive. I'm tired of buying new clothes.
Yeah, so I win my clothes, man.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Got another Fremont hat.
Hell yeah. Same bet, breaking out the Fremont hat.
I mean, my God, I'm the only guy here that don't have a Fremont hat.
Ed, Dave sent me a picture of the Fremont jacket he has, which actually looks pretty cool. Like, I like that jacket, that style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a good jacket. I don't have one of those either.
I just got done telling Ed my story about my Fremont experience, but what is yours?
I was in Vegas for a conference and there for about a week. So my bankroll was just about shot. And I don't know how I ended up at Fremont, but they got the counter going and I had a stick left one on what must have been a 14-foot table. And I put my pass. No, I was playing the one hit can't miss. I played the don't pass on myself, placed the 6 and 8 and knocked myself off a few times. And then I finally switched over to the pass line and I'd win a few things here or there. I'd hit the 6 or the 8 a couple of times. And I was so low on my bankroll. It's like, oh, I'm not going to press anything. I'm just going to collect this. And then somebody says, you're at about 30 rolls. And I said, okay, well, that's pretty cool. And I keep going. And finally I get to roll 46 and 7 out.
Damn.
And the guy, the pit boss, he starts writing down this little certificate and hands it over to me. And I said, what's this? He said, you just won a jacket. I had no idea. But yeah, so 46 rolls, and I think I made about $150 to $200.
That's average that out. Yeah.
So,
but you were in total recovery mode, right?
I was. Yeah, I was.
You can't complain. You got a jacket out of the deal. I mean, it keeps the winter wind away.
Well, the thing is, I need to go on that diet because that jacket doesn't fit me. It's too small. So what I did is I got this kit off of Amazon, and you mount a jacket or a jersey or something like that, and I could mount it on my wall. So I've got this Fremont jacket mounted down by my craps table in the basement.
It's pretty sweet.
Very
pretty
nice.
Sweet. Yeah, very
Nice.
cool. It's super cool, man. I'm gonna get there. I'm going back with that jacket.
I think the key is don't go there to get it and just let it happen, man.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't even thinking about the hat. I was just thinking about my land. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Well, and then I got the hat. I think I got the hat after that, and it was like 25 to 30 rolls. I can't remember
25.
exactly.
I think 25.
So now I try to go to Fremont every chance I get.
I like their tables. I do like their tables because they are the hardest tables I've ever played.
Hard surface, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Another weird thing about Fremont that I kind of like is, have you seen their discount clothing shop way back in the back?
No, I missed that one.
I've got several jackets, winter jackets or raincoats and things like that that are Vegas brand or dirt cheap way back there in the back.
No, I'm going to go look at that stuff.
So when I need a new wardrobe, I go to Fremont.
So Same Bet, listen, man, we're here bringing you on to not only because I had such a nice conversation with you over at the Aria slot section, is to give us a glimpse into the Kansas crap scene and that whole area near there, which I'm assuming is going to include a little bit of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah. So we could talk all about that. So over the past 5 years or so, I've been playing craps all over. We don't have that many casinos here in Kansas. In fact, I think there's only 11. But down in Oklahoma, take a wild guess. How many casinos do you think they have in Oklahoma?
How many counties are there?
I think there's 66 counties.
They probably got 48.
That's much higher.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah. There is 133 casinos in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma?
Yes.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, I'm going to fact check myself. I know you guys are big on the fact checks. Let me check something real quick. It was
Our listeners.
okay, the listeners fact check us.
Dave, you're in Kansas City, Kansas then?
No, I'm actually just outside of Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, okay, cool.
But anyways, yeah, so there's 11
That
casinos
reminds
here.
me of a Glenn Campbell song.
The Wichita lineman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the lyrics, but I recognize
The guy over
title.
there, he ain't got a clue what we're talking about.
No. No, I just know, isn't Wichita known for like the airline industry?
Yeah, it's the air capital of the world.
There you go.
Most of the airplanes that are flying for the last, 20, 30 years have come through Wichita. Parts of it have been assembled here in Wichita. So
Random fact, dude. Ed,
Yeah.
from my database, deep in my brain.
Is that from your pineal gland?
yeah, I've got 2 more Wichita facts for you.
Tell me.
The very first White Castle was here in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, man. Home of the Gutbuster.
Yep. We don't have one anymore, but it was a partnership, and I can't remember the guys' names, but we used to have a White Castle many years ago. They had a falling out. The guy that kept the White Castle name moved on and, of course, made it what it is today. And the other guy just fizzled away. But yeah, so we are home of the White Castle, and probably more famously known is we are the home of Pizza Hut. In fact, on the Wichita State University campus, the original Pizza Hut was moved over there for preservation and safekeeping. So Pizza
wow.
Hut and White Castle.
Dude, I like that. Random Wichita facts.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's circle back. We were talking
Yeah.
about the casinos. I'll come back to Kansas here in just a minute. Staying on Oklahoma. Yeah, there's 33 different tribes that operate 143 different casinos. Now, most of those casinos,
Sounds to me like that state has a gambling problem.
well, you would think, yeah. Most of those are slot parlors, but there are a few that are pretty big. In fact, you guys might have heard of WinStar Casino down near the
Oh, yeah.
Texas border.
Yeah.
I just checked it a few minutes ago, and yeah, it's still technically the world's largest casino
Yep.
with 370,000 square feet of gaming space.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Big Mama.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in trouble if Texas ever legalizes
Yeah,
gambling.
they will. Yeah, if Texas, and I don't know, the money out of Oklahoma will fight it until it passes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Same as here in Alabama, the Mississippi casinos will fight it. Advertising. Vote no. It's immoral. Blah blah blah, and it's all coming from Mississippi.
Yep. But another interesting thing about the Oklahoma casinos is you've probably heard about the ante.
Oh yeah.
And man, I could tell you some stories about that ante, but what happened is in 2018 or somewhere right around there, before that, it wasn't legal to play with real dice or a real ball in roulette. They had cards. So the roulette wheel had, 36 cards in slots. And think of it like cards on a bicycle wheel, So they would still spin the wheel, and wherever it landed, that card, the dealer would pick up the card, and that's the number that the ball would land on. And they also had, I believe, they had card craps just like they do in California. I wasn't playing it back then, so I didn't really know. But yeah, in 2018, they legalized, I think they called it the Dyson Ball bill that authorized it. But the worst part about that bill is that those games have to be player funded. They can't be house funded. So to get around that, they charge the ante. The ante creates the bank that they operate from. Now, they're also allowed to use the ante to pay for staff and administrative costs. So that's why they've charged the ante. But after a while, the bank was built up and they weren't supposed to keep that money. They were only supposed to be able to use it for certain things. So they started instituting some programs. If you have a player's card on certain days, they would waive the ante. In fact, my favorite Oklahoma casino, that's just about an hour and a half from me, they totally eliminated the ante for a long time, but they've reinstituted it here in the last few months.
Dave, I got a question to interrupt.
Yeah.
Is that ante a universal same cost? Does it vary?
No, it varies.
From what to what?
So you might be really surprised to hear that this table that I play at down in Oklahoma is actually a $5 table. One of the very few left in the country, I'm sure, but it's a $5 table all the time. It never changes. They charge a 50-cent ante, where almost all of the others charge a $1 ante.
Is that before every shooter, or is it when you show up?
Oh man, it's worse than that. It is for every come out roll.
Oh fuck. Wow. Yeah. What? That's criminal.
Yep. Roll a 7 on the come out, pay another ante. Roll an 11. Yep. That's another ante. Craps number. Yep. You're going to pay another ante.
Oh my God.
Make your point. Another ante. In fact,
that's crazy. I mean, 50 cents where you are at, but most places are $1.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, it's very difficult to overcome that on a $5 table.
Yeah.
If you're playing $10, $15,
it could cost you $8 to $9 before you even set a point.
Well, that's where I was going with that. I calculated it. I monitored it. I was spending $40 an hour in ante charges alone. So I had to make more than $40 an hour in order to break even.
Every player, correct?
Every player, every come out roll.
Not just the shooter, every player.
Every player. That's right. Every player at the table.
Can you wait and not bet the pass line, et cetera, and not pay the ante?
I've tried that. They catch you. You want to make a bet? You got to pay the ante. You came in late, but you still have to pay it.
Is there like a spot in front of you, like a fire bet, where you put that down, or do they take it in like a dealer, like at poker table?
Yeah, they take it in like a dealer. I've seen them on blackjack tables where they have a circle dedicated to your ante. But for craps, they just take it.
I would hate that. I would hate that so much. I don't even know if I would play. I hate that. In principle.
So really the only way that you can get around it is if you're betting way above table minimums, that your win is, I mean, the ante is negligible. But if you're a $5 player on that $5 table, that ante is very difficult to overcome. You're going to have to play pretty aggressive to overcome it. But people do it. I mean, those tables are packed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's people, they like to play. People like to play craps.
So this is just in Oklahoma, not in Kansas, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
So I assume, are you staying mostly then in Kansas? I mean, Oklahoma's got a shit ton of tables. What about Kansas?
Well, actually, they don't have as many tables. You know, they had 143 casinos, but maybe only, I don't know, I'm just going to say 15 have tables.
How many are at WinStar?
Man, it's been 3 years since I've been to WinStar. And I would say, actually, I was in WinStar when they first opened the craps tables. So it might have been more than 3 years ago. I want to say they had 4 or 5 tables. Man,
that's not really that many.
No.
For the largest casino in the world, that is not many.
That first Council casino I was telling you about with the $5 table, it is just one table. And half the time, only half the table is open. And it doesn't even open until about 5 p.m. Even on weekends, it doesn't open until about 5 p.m. It's because it's located in, nowhere, Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Newkirk, Oklahoma.
How far is that over the Texas line?
Over the Texas, it's the northern border. It's up all the way up the northern border. WinStar
is that in the panhandle of Oklahoma, or is that
not the panhandle? North central.
Okay,
directly south of Wichita. So I don't know. You're familiar with I-35?
No, not at all. I just know what the states look like on a map.
Yep. So picture right in the middle of Oklahoma, right up at the northern border. That's where you'll find it.
So it's in northern Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
So then they're trying to catch in players from not just Texas.
Farmers, ranchers, oilmen.
Everybody. Yeah. All around there.
And actually, I got to know quite a few of the players down there, and one guy, professor from Oklahoma State University, several ranchers, the local guys. I used to refer to them as honky tonk casinos. They're playing the country music, beers everywhere, people having a good time.
My people.
The environment's great.
Yeah.
But the ante is not.
No.
That ante would just totally suck.
So Same Bet, what is the lay of the land as far as craps goes? Well, casinos and then more specifically craps tables in Kansas.
Yeah, so there are 4 state-owned casinos. They're managed by our lottery department. They're kind of at the 4 corners of the state.
Mm-hmm.
I've played at all of them, but my local one, Kansas Star, is the biggest. They've got 5 craps tables down here.
Where is that? What city is that?
That's just south of Wichita. Maybe it's maybe 10 minutes south of Wichita, right on I-35.
Yeah.
If you're driving through town, that's where you can go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played there with a couple of names you might know. I've played there with Heavy.
Yeah.
I've played there with Jacob from Wager Me This.
Yeah.
And a couple of other local guys. But honestly, you know what, guys? I'll be honest with you. I don't play a lot of craps anymore. I'll play some bubble craps every once in a while to get just a little bit personal.
Please do, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
no,
please, why don't you?
Well, my wife and I decided quite some time back that we don't really enjoy the date night gambling. We'd take $200, $300, $400 and blow it on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
We would much rather save that money and go to either Colorado or Atlantic City or Vegas and treat it as a vacation rather than a date night.
Right.
So if I happen to lose $200 or $300 on a Vegas trip, that's nothing because it's a vacation.
Yeah.
But when you're losing $200 or $300, a couple of times a month, it starts to take a toll, and you have to do some soul searching.
Yeah,
exactly. Because let's face it, I am not the best craps player on the table.
Says the only guy in this channel that's got a jacket.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I love that. Yeah, humble.
Well, I'll have to say that I've been trained by some of the best. I've had classes with Heavy, with Tony Leo, with Howard Newman, and I've also gone through the Golden Touch Craps class. Bo Parker.
Yeah.
Bo was one of the first people that I went to. I have a master's education in the game.
Same Bet. I was planning on getting to that, when we were talking. That was the part of our conversation, which I found actually the most interesting, specifically about education and learning. But I still wanted to talk about, you've got basically in the 4 corners of Kansas. So I'm assuming you're talking Kansas City, Kansas City.
Well,
what about on the west side of the state, which would be near Colorado, right?
So there's one in Dodge City. It's near Colorado. It's called the Boot Hill Casino. And that's a fun one to travel to and to see the old west town of Dodge.
Right. I would be in for that.
Get out of Dodge.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a fun go-to once type of a casino. The other one is up near Kansas City. It's on the Kansas side of Kansas City.
Yep.
It's been a while since I've been there. It was a very bouncy table. And there's plenty of other casinos nearby that I don't go to that one. It was a Hollywood casino. Penn Gaming owns that one.
All right. So you said you don't play a lot of craps anymore during or in state.
Right.
Is it still your game of choice when you go out of state?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot more bubble craps than anything because if you are very honest with yourself and you know the number one rule of gambling, don't play with money you can't afford to lose.
Correct.
I add something to that.
Yeah.
Except for this guy.
Oh,
well, I add one thing to that, guys. Play with money you can't afford to lose or money that you would rather spend somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of the soul searching that I did.
Respect.
So I could go play at a $25 table or I can go play at a $3 bubble craps machine and still have a lot of fun with it. I put my earbuds in, put on some Bee Gees Staying Alive, and I just press that button,
Nice. Nice.
And that works for me. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it really does work for me.
Same Bet. I never thought about that. Ed, I've always wanted to and secretly wished I could listen to music when I'm throwing at the table, but you can't. I'm like, man, I would love to go there just stoned out. I never thought of that by playing bubble craps. Obviously, I'm not a bubble craps player or a stadium craps player, but
yeah,
I'll think about that. That's pretty cool.
I played bubble craps the other day.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard you say something about that. The bubble craps has become my game of choice because I can sit there for hours and hours. I'm not going to win. You're not going to see any kind of chip porn or ticket porn from me, but I had fun, and that's what matters.
well, yeah.
I stayed within my budget, and I played the way I want to play.
I'm going to ask them a random question. Don't shoot me, 10-ton.
No, I won't. I won't. You know, I don't. I don't like violence.
I do.
Go ahead.
So, but I just wanted to know. I mean, if you're playing a lot of bubble craps, do you have? And you don't have to reveal it, but I mean, do you have a specific style or strategy that you just try to play continuously to see how it's going to go?
I do. I have two that I really like. It's the one hit can't miss.
Yeah.
I'll play the don't put my 6 and 8 up there. If the point's a 6 or an 8, I leave it up there and I just wait for the next one. So I'm hedged out, right? So I'm really only betting a don't on a 4, 5, 9, or 10.
Yeah.
So let's say I buy in for $50. Well, if I get up to $60, I cash out, pocket that $10, go do it again. I just rinse and repeat. And I do that all day long when I'm playing bubble grab somewhere.
Nothing wrong with that.
The other one I do, and Ed, you will not like this. I will do like a $5 don't pass and then $1 on each of the numbers. That's not the point. So I'll hedge it out and I'll try to win $2 or $3 before the 7 comes, or I lose my don't pass, and I can generally win a few more dollars that way. That's one of wager me this is things.
Yeah.
It works great on bubble craps. It works great where it is truly random.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about somebody setting for a 7 on a come out.
So, Dave, are you playing bubble craps now in Kansas? This isn't when you're out in Vegas. It seems like the rise of bubble craps in a lot of casinos. Is that big in Kansas?
No.
Out of the 4 casinos, the 4 main casinos there, what's big as far as craps tables go? 4 tables?
Kansas Star is the biggest, and they almost always have one table open that's full. In the beginning of the evenings, they'll have a crapless table and a regular table. Both of them are 14 foot.
Damn.
And then every once in a while, they'll open up a third table that's crapless, a 12-foot crapless. That's usually what you're going to find on a weekend.
Yeah.
Now, for bubble craps, they've had one of those, I don't know, 6-seater shoot to win, I think is what they called it. But I tell you, that one is damn near impossible to get on. Those guys, they're regulars, and they sit there for hours and hours. It's very popular with the Asian community here in Wichita.
Really? Interesting.
You don't see many Asians playing bubble crap.
And Ed, that's a thing. You don't.
I see a few on a regular table, and I see a gazillion of them on a baccarat table.
Yep. Especially at all the stadium seating ones that are popping up.
We had stadium seating at Kansas Star, and nobody played it. So
Really?
they took it out. That was actually my favorite. I really liked that. But yeah, so they only had the one roll to win or shoot to win. I can't remember what it was called. It's on a timer, so the dice go about every 30 seconds or so. 30 seconds can be an eternity.
It can.
When you're waiting and you just want to press that button.
Really? Because Ed, I got to tell you guys, I played Stadium Craps for the first time ever the other night with LA, Leanne. She's like, just try this.
Probably at the Horseshoe.
It was at the Horseshoe.
I told you.
So it's funny that you're saying this, Dave, because I thought that was too fast. Because I was like, I couldn't, like, I hated it. Okay. I just
once you get used to
it.
the interface, you know, the electronic
I couldn't make
interface.
my bets in time. I'm trying to figure it out. Man, I'm like, no thanks,
betting
Leanne.
too complicated.
I'm done. This is good. I hate it. I just got done looking at a computer all day long. Let's go play real craps. So, Same Bet, where's that other casino that's up in the top left corner of the state near Nebraska?
So it's the last one is in Pittsburgh, Kansas, near the Missouri border. I've only played there one time, and I swear that table is bigger than 14 foot.
Could be a 16-footer.
I thought that was a thing. Do they have 16-footers at Excalibur?
I've never been in there in my life. Never been in
That's
there.
where one of the tables like Excalibur and Luxor have the big ass tables. I don't know if they're definitely 14 foot. I don't know if it's 16 foot, but man.
They call those aircraft carriers.
Yeah, they really are.
So I know Pittsburgh, that's super close to the border.
Yes.
But so is there anything though up in that northwest corner near the Nebraska-Colorado border? Because I know Dodge City is down south in the Southwest. Oh, so there's nothing there. Okay.
There's nothing up there.
All right. So do you ever venture? Are there casinos in Missouri?
Yes, there are.
Do you ever venture into those?
I do. But let me tell you about this Pittsburgh, Kansas casino. Picture this. A guy standing at stick right one. And there's only two of us at the table. And he gets the dice, picks them up, and I have no idea why they allow him to do this. Picture a shot put guy, as he pulls his arm back by his ear. So the dice are no longer over the table. They're back by his head. And he just launches them out towards the table, just like a shot put. Boom. And that guy rolled 25 times, more than once. And,
wow.
It's not a controlled shot other than the way he throws it. But it was kind of fun to watch this guy.
That would have been awesome to watch.
Pull him back just like a bow and arrow or something.
I'm surprised they let him do that because
Me
they're
too.
really strict. They're really strict about where the dice are in the vicinity of the table.
Ed, it would have been really cool if he spun around a couple times like he was doing a shot put. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess moving on to Missouri, most of the casinos that I've played at are in Kansas City. Harrah's is my go-to because it's a Caesars property and I've got points there. And I've got contacts with some hosts, so I can generally get a free night there. But it is a plain Jane vanilla place. Picture Park MGM. Mm-hmm. Very plain hotel. Nothing spectacular about the playing floor. But that's where I got comps, so that's where I usually go.
Yeah.
Right.
There's also an Ameristar, which is pretty nice. And one called Argosy Casino that is very nice. I would say
I've heard of that one.
Argosy is decorated. It's I would say it's probably the most Vegas-like casino around. I want to say $15 to $25 minimums on the tables there. And then they also have Bally's that kind of caters to the lower denominations. But Harrah's is where I stay at most of them. And it's right, it's on the Kansas City, Missouri side, very near where the Chiefs play and the Royals. So
there's no antes there, right? The ante thing is only in Oklahoma.
That's right. I've got a recommendation for you guys. You might reach out to Don Wood out of Colorado.
I know Don.
Yeah. You know Don?
Yeah.
He also does some private games at Harrah's in Kansas City. So he'd probably be a really good source to talk to you a lot more about the Colorado casinos. And you can probably ask him about the Kansas City stuff as well.
They run them a lot to Harrah's, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah, they've got a private room where they've got a 12-foot craps table, and they do a lot of private games.
So, Same Bet, would you say Vegas over Atlantic City, over Biloxi, over KC, or your region in general? Is Vegas your place, your ideal?
I absolutely love Vegas. That is where I love to play. I love to go and eat at different places. I think we've seen almost every Cirque du Soleil show. It's a vacation when we go, and we just really enjoy it. So it is our go-to place. Last summer, we had an opportunity to do a junket from Caesars out to Atlantic City, and the casino play was fine. I didn't have any problem with that.
Which casino did you stay at?
Tropicana.
That's where I stayed when I went on my junket. It seemed like a huge, almost confusing property to me.
It was. You're right. It took a day or so to kind of get the lay of the land.
Yeah, it really does. Then you're getting on a plane to leave. By the time you figure it out, you got to go.
Yeah. But, growing up here in Oklahoma and Kansas, seeing an ocean was pretty awesome. And Tropicana is right there on the boardwalk and the beach. And what we really enjoyed, this is going to sound like a singles dateline, but really enjoyed going for walks on the beach at the night with the neon lights from the casino lighting up the beach.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
There's just nowhere else like that. So it's not going to be our go-to, but we would definitely go back. But to rank the things, like you said, Vegas is definitely number one. I would say number two is Blackhawk, Colorado.
Wow. Same Bet, throwing in the wild card Blackhawk, Colorado. That's sweet.
I like Blackhawk. What did you like about Blackhawk?
So in Blackhawk, we would go in, we usually go for a couple of days, and we would spend the days exploring the mountains, kind of going, seeing some of the parks, the state parks, enjoying nature.
You must have had a car.
Yes.
I did not. So I was stuck on the transit.
Yeah, there is nothing to do but gamble in Black Hawk. You have to have a car. You really need a car if you're going up there.
If you're going to do anything else, and if you want to get back to the airport on time because I missed my flight.
Yeah, I met a few guys at Black Hawk maybe I don't know 3 years ago, and it was in October.
You guys did a video on that several years ago. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and we actually got snowed in. Had to stay an extra day because we couldn't drive back down the mountain.
I met Rick. Is it Rick?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Rick from Let It Roll.
Briefly. I met him briefly. Ran into him briefly in Black Hawk. Sure did.
Interesting story. Mel from Craps Hawaii.
Yeah.
He and I were playing at the Saratoga. A nice table at Saratoga.
At that time. It's bouncy now. It's bouncy now, I can promise you.
Man.
It's a terrible table now.
Well, Mel was throwing from stick left. Yeah, stick left one. And he threw the dice and it hit the deck, bounced up against the gator walls, and one of the dice got stuck in the gator wall pyramids. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that either. Up in the wall. It's stuck up in the wall.
In the wall.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of in the walls, I know this is bouncing all over the place, but I'm going to go back to Oklahoma for a second.
Yeah.
There's a small honky-tonk casino called Buffalo Run near Tulsa, maybe 20 minutes outside of Tulsa.
Yeah, nice.
And they had an interesting table that had the Fire Bet and the All Tall Small on it. It might have had the repeaters also. I can't remember for sure, but it for sure had the Fire Bet and All Tall Small. But what was really interesting about this table is that down at the ends, right in the middle, was a missing pyramid and a camera lens.
Oh, cool.
What was
the cameras, they didn't have eyes in the sky. They didn't have, and they wanted to be able to move the table around. So their eye in the sky is actually an eye in the table.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I'd like to poke their eye out with that.
Yeah, give you something to aim for.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you. So you'd go Vegas, Black Hawk, and then where? Does Biloxi factor in? And have you been to Biloxi?
I have been to Biloxi. I know they're one of those Caesar junkets.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we just didn't like it.
Because you went to Harris.
Yeah, we stayed at Harris. But again, one of those, farm boys from Kansas. We're sitting out here looking at the Gulf, and we see this fin, and both of us think, it's a shark. It's a shark. No, it was a dolphin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
It was still a lot of fun to see, But Biloxi, there was nothing wrong with it. There's no shortage of casinos to play at.
Yeah.
Their transportation around is perfect. I mean, you couldn't beat it. But that was all there was to do. The food we didn't think was all that great. There was no entertainment, and the casinos weren't Vegas quality casinos. Is what I would say. I'm glad we went.
He's stabbing me in the heart.
Dave's over here. Y'all welcome
I'm just
to Vegas
the Ed
anytime,
balance.
man.
I bring balance to your game, Ed.
Yeah, that hurts. The food is awesome. You got to go to the right place.
It's probably where I'm sure it's where we ate. But nothing spectacular that I remember.
So speaking of those bonus bets, is the ATS everywhere?
It's mostly ATS. Repeater, I maybe at that one at Buffalo Run.
Right.
I don't see it locally hardly at all. But ATS, you can pretty much find that everywhere. Fire Bet's still around in a few places.
So since you play mostly bubble craps at your locals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or whatever, in Kansas, we'll just say.
Yep.
Do any of those have the bonus bets where you're at? And are there any crapless bubble craps where you play?
There are crapless bubble crap machines, just not in my area.
Okay.
I've seen them in Black Hawk, and I've seen them in Vegas. But so far, actually, I think they might have had one in Harrah's in Kansas City also. But I'm a don't player. I guess you'd have to say I'm a don't.
Yeah, so you're not going to play on those.
No.
Not if you're doing one hit can't miss or something like that. You're not going to want to play those tables or those machines. How do you find? My host has always said, don't ever, Ed, stick your card in a bubble craps machine.
Really?
She's told
That's
me,
interesting.
Never, ever stick your card in
Why?
a bubble craps machine. It hurts your theoretical.
Oh, I stuck it in there, man.
I would say there is no good reason to do that in Vegas.
Do you want to hear? Same bet. Dude, the funny thing is, Ed, this is a real story. You're going to think it's so funny. I couldn't even figure out where to put my card. That is proof. That is proof that
You
I
got
do
it
not
stuck
play
in the
these
ticket
games.
out
I literally
slot.
was looking. I was like, I didn't even know where to stick my card to play Bubble Craps. It took me literally like a minute to find that because my brain just does. I don't even know what I'm looking at. But yeah, it's just not my thing.
So I'm gonna give Dave some. I don't know if he's seen it before.
Okay.
But there's like 8 machines in Hard Rock. They look like slot machines, but they're called Casino Wizard.
Oh no.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Those, I do not like playing those.
All right, but you got to play the don'ts on them because
Well,
you're a don't player.
I would agree with that. That's the only way you're going to win.
What are
Because they're
those?
very mathematical in however the RNG comes up with the rolls.
So let me tell you why.
But I will say this before you go on. If you get like 8 wins in a row, you need to go ahead and cash out because that machine somehow figures your ass out.
That you are 100% right. And the reason is it's more of a slot machine than it is a craps machine.
What is
they
it?
have return to player. It's a programmed in amount that it will force you to lose if you're winning too much.
Yep.
That I do not consider that a real craps game.
No, you've got to play it and you got to play it smart if you play it. And I've learned that I can go up there and I can play the don'ts on that thing and do like a
now that one you should put your player card in. You'll be rated as a slot player on that.
That one I always do because it's like a slot machine. But I'll do like a $15 don't pass and I'll do 2, maybe 3 don't passes and I max out the odds every time that it'll let me.
I think it's only double odds if I remember right. Maybe it's only
it's not a lot.
So is this a video craps game?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but it looks like a slot machine. But you can go in there and you can take 200 and turn it into 350, 400, and then you need to cash out because it's going to turn your tables on you real quick. It's going to figure out what you're doing, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I truly believe it kind of tries to outsmart you because it knows what you're doing. It's okay, this guy's a don't player. He's playing the don't pass. We're going to start knocking his ass off because if you stay too long, it will knock you off time after time before it sevens out. So I love the thing for quick hits. Boom, 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 cash out, go away, come back later, maybe put your card in, maybe not put your card in, but do the same thing over and over.
I want to go back to what you were saying about the player's card in bubble craps machines. In Vegas, and this is where somebody will probably have to fact check me, I believe most of the bubble craps machines have a little sticker on them saying this does not earn tier credits.
Yeah, it's terrible, if any.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe it's because you can hedge your bets and you play the Dewey don't or play a don't come and place the point and just rack up points. So people have, abused that system and ruined it for the honest bubble crap players. So I get that. Don't use your player card there. It will hurt you.
Yeah. My host has told me, if you ever sit down and play one of those things, do not put your card in.
Good advice.
So far, the only redeeming thing that I could think of is I can listen to music and play. It's such a bummer walking up to a table. You got your music going. I'm psyched to shoot, and then I have to take out my headphones.
I've found that I really do enjoy listening to the music that I like.
What are you listening to? The Bee Gees or ABBA?
I'll admit that song is in my playlist, and it makes me laugh every time it comes on because that's all I'm trying to do is stay alive. But no, I've got close to 100 songs on a playlist that spans just about everything.
Man, Ed, when I talked to Same Bet the other day, he was listening to Boston.
Yeah.
I love Boston.
More Than a Feeling, dude.
That's on my playlist also. But where I was going with that is I have found my anxiety level is much lower, even if I'm playing a higher denomination on a bubble craps machine, if I'm listening to the music that I like. It puts me in a zone, just like you could get in the zone of a real craps table. The music puts me in that state that I'm calm. I'm very calculated on the bets that I'm making. I'm having a lot of fun. But if you were to look at me, you'd think, man, that guy needs to relax just a little bit. But I am relaxed. That's how I'm relaxing.
So Same Bet, do you prefer then bubble craps over the live craps experience?
No. I just need them to come back to $5 tables.
Well, I mean, there are $5 tables here at Palms and at Ellis that I know of. Obviously, where we hung out.
No.
$25 at Aria.
Yeah. So Again, you kind of have to go play somewhere. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys here. My wife is the point winner for us. So she's
Nice.
the reason that we get the Caesars comps or the MGM comps. She'll play slots for hours,
Yeah.
and she does very well at it. And we play where she's going to get the points.
Yeah, I can get that 100%.
That enables us to go on these vacations. So instead of date nights at the Kansas Star, every 3 or 4 months, we'd like to be going to Vegas.
Yeah, and you're coming back to Vegas.
I'll be there in a couple of weeks. It's actually a work trip, but I'm still counting it as another trip to Vegas. Yeah. I'm going to be staying for 1 full week at the Venetian on the company dime.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know who you're going to run into if you're not careful. You know who you're going to run into at the Venetian.
Who's that?
One of your old podcast guys that you used to listen to. The guys that used to be at Planet Hollywood.
Oh, Spike and Teabag.
One of them, if not both of them, are at Venetian now.
Are they really?
Yep.
I'll have to watch out for those guys.
I think it's
what
Spike.
The hell did you say? His name was Teabag?
Yeah.
You know what Teabag it is?
We know what Teabag is. All right, so
oh my God,
They had a podcast. A couple of morons
talking
about casinos.
2 morons or something like that. What was it?
Yeah, 2 morons talking about casino and craps or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
they haven't done a podcast in a long time.
No, but they were very funny.
You introduced them to me because you interviewed them.
Yep.
At one time on your show. And by the way, I want to thank you. This isn't personally because we're on a screen, but you interviewed me twice.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. And you really increased my, I'm going to put quotes around this, popularity or whatever. And I want to thank you personally for what you did for me and my channel back then, because I was new on YouTube and you still decided to interview me, and overnight I like boom, 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 boom. The subscriber list went way up real quick. And so thank you, Dave.
I'm really glad I could help.
I've always appreciated the fact that you decided to take a chance on interviewing Ed at that point in time.
Well, I kind of think I have a talent. I'm like a talent scout. I would say there was only one interview that I did that I regretted. And that was, I'm going to say it was Garrison Russell.
Yeah, well.
So Same Bet, hold that thought, because I want to give context to this to everyone that's listening that might not have heard of you. And maybe we should just give a little quick story, because you know what? We're living in a different, our podcast platform is very different from YouTube. We're not on YouTube. I first heard of you and watched you and subscribed to you on YouTube.
Yep.
You were one of the few channels that was like, oh, sweet, someone's talking about craps. You were interviewing people. You had a lot of stuff going on. Now, maybe you can just give a quick backstory and sort of like what's going on now with that, because from what I know is that you're really not as, I guess you've backed off a lot of your YouTube channel. We know about you already, and we should have done this intro in the beginning, but we just kind of freeform, and now we're here.
All right. So before I go there, I'm going to say that goes for you too, 10 Ton.
What?
We don't know you.
Yeah.
We don't know your background. Everybody knows Ed.
Yeah.
But we don't know you. You need to spend some time.
I'm popular for making people into folk heroes.
There you go. Yeah. You need to do something on your own to let us know who you are.
Yeah, maybe it's funny. Before this podcast launch, a lot of people don't know, I was gearing up to launch a whole YouTube channel, everything. Yeah. It just, how it happens. Ed Robinson comes into your life, and then all of a sudden you got a podcast.
Yeah.
So who knows down the road, but right now.
I really enjoy the podcast. I got to tell you, 10 Ton, I really enjoy it because I don't have to do any of the work. All I got to do is drink and talk.
Perfect, right?
That's awesome.
Dave, it's nice learning about people, and you were interviewing other people. You have a gift for this because it's obvious this isn't your first rodeo, just talking.
You know how it is. The hours that you have to put into it is quite a bit. I was probably spending about 15 to 20 hours a week to put on one 1-hour show.
Yeah.
And it became a part-time job that I would probably earn about $2 on YouTube for.
Well, that much?
Yeah, well, on a good day when Ed was on. But anyway, so the way I got started, and actually the way I came up with my name, Same Bet, it's not because I endorse the Same Bet betting style. It's that I saw Jeremy Ellerick and a couple of other guys that would roll out some strategies, and I wanted to do the same bet on my tables, the table that I built. I actually built my own table, and see if I could get the same kind of results. So that was how Same Bet actually came about. And then I decided to turn on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I very quickly learned that I can't shoot and talk at the same time.
Yeah.
And I can't
That is very difficult. People do not understand how difficult it is to create a video and shoot.
Yeah.
They do not understand that. It's very difficult.
And then throw betting in on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're just like left brain, right brain all over the place.
Exactly. That's when I decided, okay, well, this isn't going to be for me. And I am not an expert on the game of craps. So why don't I just talk to people who are expert in the game of craps? And that's how I got started doing interviews. There's a guy in Las Vegas. I don't remember his name, but he goes by Not Leaving Las Vegas as his
Yep. I know who you're talking about. Yep.
I interviewed him. He was actually my very first interview when I was there in Vegas on a trip one time.
Really? The guy with the glasses?
Yes. Yeah. That's when I kind of decided, oh, this isn't so bad. I know the questions that I think people are interested in. So all I have to do is sit here and ask questions. You guys are the ones on the hook of it being good quality information or not. I just have to ask questions. So that's how I got started. And then I started taking classes from all the different camps.
Right.
And just really started to dig into it. But coming back to what I was saying, that I was spending too much money, going way too often on a date night, that over time lost its power. It lost its luster.
Mm.
But anyways, so that's how I got started doing YouTube. And the reason I stopped doing YouTube is it was just too much work.
So have you completely stopped then?
I still do a few things. I do some things for Tony Leo. In his group.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it that way. A little 8-minute clip.
Yeah.
Showing
Yeah.
something specific.
Yeah.
I don't, the videos were popular. The interviews were popular, but it was just a lot of work.
Yeah. I get it.
The thing I liked about what you did was you always did them live.
Yeah.
That's not easy, but as a viewer, that was great.
The reason of that, Ed, is I kept running out of questions on what to ask. So if I did it live, people would ask questions and I would just say, okay, well, Joe wants to know this.
Mm-hmm.
I just played the part of the mouthpiece,
Yep. You did a great job. You inspired me for the Tales of the Table series that I've done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once you decided to stop, I was like, okay, now I can do it because I didn't want to step on your toes.
Well, and I got to admit, I do get a little twinge every now and then. When you guys had Bo Parker on that first time, it's like, oh, wow, I really should have interviewed him when I was doing this.
Yeah.
And so it was that for a brief moment, maybe I should get back into the game. And then that moment passed.
I'm doing Tony tomorrow night, by the way.
Are you really? Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yep. Tomorrow night.
Since you're bringing up all the teachers or instructors, you mentioned Garrison was your least favorite interview. I want to know what your favorite interview was, but also why was Garrison your least favorite interview? A full-length extended version of this podcast is available exclusively on our Patreon page. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and will tell all of your fellow craps playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tears on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tears vent line, 229-NO7. You can also email us at no7@casinotears.com. And lastly, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/casinotears. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is #1 from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.